I'm gonna get to my chores. I'm gonna let you guys hang out with me as I get to it. You can already see on my list is some weed pulling. Our cottage garden is getting a little bit overrun. Our pathway is getting the weeds in it. We are thankful for the rain. Being in West Texas, before this year, which has been super rainy, I didn't even know what it was like to have to pull weeds. That just was not something that we had on our to-do list because we never got enough rain for the weeds to grow. But this year, I guess they're saying it's our turn to pull weeds. I'm thankful. But looking at it, you can kind of see I came through yesterday and I started pulling weeds in the evening, and then I got distracted trying to chase a baby bunny out of this garden. There is a mama rabbit that dug a burrow, and this is the same rabbit that we saw the other day, that little bunny that the snake was hunting. Well, this little bunny has about tripled in size since the last video, and I don't think has ever left the garden. I think he lives here, and he's weaned, so he's old enough to move out on his own. So my plan is if I can catch him, I'm probably just going to take him out of the garden so he can go be a rabbit somewhere else. But he is really fast, and you'd be surprised how well a little bunny can hide in a space like this. It's like you wouldn't even know that he's there until he runs from you. So when I was pulling weeds yesterday, they stay super still, and I was grabbing and pulling a weed and he was like a few inches from my hand, and I didn't even see him until he darted off, and I'm like, we've got one more rabbit in here. I think that the mama rabbit had 3 babies. I was able to catch 2 by hand, and this third one, he is really good at hiding. So I was coming out here yesterday and I probably spent about 35 minutes just looking through our tomatillos. He likes to hide in the tomatillos, and then he likes to hide underneath our beans because they're so thick, and I couldn't get him. So we gave up, let him do his thing, and we'll have to catch rabbit another day. But what I am out here today for is I'm going to pull weeds. There are so many weeds all in here in between the rows. Get this cleaned up a little bit. We're also going to try to pull weeds in between the plants. We have a lot of amaranth and tumbleweeds growing up. Look at that. It's hardly even a row now. So we'll get to pulling those. I'm also going to harvest today. Planning on harvesting our potato patch and getting in here and getting some other things pulled as well. So that's going to be fun, and we're going to do a lot of preserving and canning this weekend. So I've got to get to it because it's only getting hotter. Our pumpkins look like they're getting almost ready. Look at this. Tromboncinos, they're starting to look like butternut squash. We've got our blue Hubbards that are turning blue, which means they're almost ready. We've got our cheese squashes that are changing color as well. And the squash bugs have officially taken over. I don't see the neem oil doing a whole lot to help them. So now it's just a race against time, trying to get our pumpkins to harvest before the plants die, essentially. And I mean, it's part of it. We're just gonna have to wait and see if we can get them to ripen before the plants die. So what are you doing over here? And Evie, my ever garden helper, she has noticed that when I'm out here, I'm harvesting things, and she took it upon herself the other day, and I wish I would have caught it on video. We did get a little bit of scolding because we don't harvest things on our own, Evie, just me. But she brought me a cantaloupe the other day, like almost, it was the size of a tennis ball, and this one was actually ripe. It was Hale's Best, and I think it ripened small because the rabbits keep eating the cantaloupes. So It was the little one that was on the ground over here, and it was ready to pick, but I was over there harvesting zucchinis, and Evie came up to me looking so guilty with her tail wagging, and she offered me this cantaloupe, kind of in a way of saying my interpretation of she could speak English. She was asking, can I have this one? Because she loves cantaloupe. So we didn't give it to her because we don't want her to learn to pick stuff out of the garden and eat it, because I don't want her picking things prematurely. But I do have it on my kitchen counter, and I'm going to cut it up and give her a little bit of cantaloupe after we go inside and cool off this afternoon. But Evie, have you been watching me pick stuff in the garden? You thought you could pick stuff? Yeah. She does have this hot spot where she broke her leg and has been licking it when I'm not looking. So we're doing some good supervision today. She has to still wear a cone when I'm not home because she will cause issues on her leg. Her leg, it has healed, but I think that, I don't know if she has arthritis where she broke her leg, but she has some, I guess, aches and pains. So she has this hot spot that it will completely heal. And as soon as I think I can trust her to no longer live with a cone, she decides to open it back up. So you're probably going to have a cone for the rest of your life, Evie, when I'm not home, which kind of sucks. But she's a good dog. Don't lick that leg. I'm watching you. So let's see what we can harvest today in this beautiful garden. After I do get the harvesting done and the weeding, probably not done, but at least a dent in it, I am also going to come out here and start planning for the fall garden. This is around the time we want to start thinking about planting crops for the fall. So I'm going to be looking at these plants, thinking what I can pull out and what we can pop in so that we can have a fall harvest. My original plan this year, guys, was to have this half of the garden ready to go by August. That way we can go ahead and just plant this half with fall crops and let everything over here peter out on its own. But with all of the projects that Josh and I have been doing and the work that we've been doing with our regular jobs, we just have not had the time to get to this or to devote to this. So this is probably not going to happen until mid-fall or potentially winter to kind of prep this area for next spring. So all that to be said, I need to start also thinking about spaces to plant brassicas and root vegetables and things like sugar snap peas now in this side. So we'll start working that in as well this weekend and see how far we can get. It's going to be a full weekend, so I'll let y'all guys tag along and see how I do. And y'all can see here, this is our potato patch, and the potato patches, you want to wait until the potatoes die back to harvest them, and there's a lot of green. This is all weeds, so I'm going to probably weed out this area and then dig up potatoes as I go. We'll hopefully get some potatoes. We'll have to see how well we did this year. This again is first year soil. We did kind of neglect the potato patch a little bit, but I'm still pretty confident that we should get a harvest out of this. There's 3 6-foot by 2-foot beds along this fence line. I did go through and weeded this section, and as I went I harvested the potatoes, kind of tilled the soil a little bit with my shovel and hands, And this is probably going to be the first area where I'm going to plant fall crops. We'll probably amend this with some more compost on top, get that mixed in and watered in really good, and then we'll have some sowing of fall crops probably this weekend, or if not, at least by next weekend with everything else we've got going on. We probably could have left the potatoes in the ground a few days or maybe even a week longer and gotten a little bit bigger potatoes here, but overall I'm happy with it. I also went ahead and harvested some onions, which we'll cut up into tonight's dinner with our roasted potatoes. We had 3 varieties of potatoes here. The yellows are Yukon Golds. I want to say the reds, it's some kind of red potato. Is it Adirondack, or is that what the purple are? Then we got purple. I need to go back and remember what varieties we got going on here, but these could have gotten a lot bigger. We harvested them as baby potatoes. So while I'm out here harvesting everything else, let's get these babies covered up so they don't turn green on us. In this hour, it has already increased about 15 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep on going, maybe harvest everything that needs to come out today from the garden, and then from there, depending on how hot it is, I'll keep weeding. Otherwise, I may resume weeding this evening. I am also planning on fertilizing and watering the garden this evening, so I may just wait, fertilize, water, and then weed once everything's been watered in really good, because weeds like to come out of the ground easier when the ground's wet. So now let me go get to harvesting. I'll put you guys somewhere where you can see what's going on, and then I will show you guys what all we get today. Back up at the house, and I want to show you guys my harvest that I did today. Pretty proud of the food that keeps coming in from the garden. All of this hard work is paying off on this lovely hobby of gardening. Got some onions. I'm gonna do the onions and potatoes with dinner tonight. This batch of potatoes, this is probably good for maybe 2 meals for Josh and I. So even though it took months to grow this and it's only a couple meals, this is a good learning experience, learning how to garden. I don't necessarily grow the garden just for the harvest. I think part of the process is learning to grow food, making it a hobby, growing for the garden. And if you are having fun while you do it, you'll definitely get something out of it. But if you're only growing the potatoes to get a big potato harvest, and then you get maybe some smaller potatoes like these, it'll lead to potential disappointment and letdown. So I'm really excited about this harvest. I think these are going to just be super tender and juicy, roasted in the oven tonight with dinner. I also was able to harvest some cantaloupes out of the garden, and these, there's no question about them being ripe or not. They literally were just falling off the vine, and if you smell the end where they've detached from the vine, they smell just like cantaloupes. So these are going to be juicy and delicious. These varieties right here, this is Sweet Passion. I also grew Charentais and Hales Best this year, and I've already eaten the Charentais and Hales Best, and they have been the juiciest, most delicious cantaloupes ever. A little on the smaller side, but I'm going to blame the rabbits for that. They kept eating them down repeatedly. Our cucamelons are starting to come in. We're getting about this many every week off of them. Typically, Josh and I just snack on the cucamelons. It's a watermelon looking cucumber. Got a crunchy outside, kind of clear green on the inside, full of seeds, and it tastes like cucumber with a hint of lemon or lime. They're delicious. So typically we just snack on these. These would be great thrown in salads, but they don't usually make it that far. We just eat them right out of the garden. We also got a handful of eggplants. We've harvested eggplants throughout the season, just in small waves like this. And last time I harvested them, I sliced, battered, and fried these and did like a chicken parmesan alfredo. And I did fried chicken, fried green tomatoes, and fried eggplant all on top, and it was delicious. So I think we may do that again because we have a small harvest of these Listata de Gandia eggplants. Our Eagle Pass okra is starting to come in. This is a really plump, juicy okra. So we also have Heavy Hitter and Alabama Red on the way. But Eagle Pass, which is a Texas native, is the first to produce, and that could be potentially that they're more suited to our climate. And then we got a little bit of tomatoes. I did set some sad, disappointing tomatoes aside that the caterpillars got to first, and green, juicy caterpillars that have beat us to our tomato harvest much of the season. So I've been harvesting a little bit more on the underripe side and letting them ripen on the counter to beat the bugs and getting some of our tomatoes. I was really looking forward to this large striped barred boar. I was looking forward to a nice tomato sandwich, and unfortunately the caterpillars beat us to him this time. Squash is still coming in strong. We've been harvesting squash 2 or 3 days a week, and we're still getting repeatedly about this much harvest every time we go out there. So the squash, they're coming in faster than we can eat them. I do plan on freezing a lot of this so we can eat some in the winter. I've also been giving a lot of squash away. And then pickles. These are our Armenian yard-long cucumbers and our Indian snake cucumbers, respectively. Indian snake has a velvety texture, and it's a little bit longer and thinner. And the Armenian is a little bit thicker. It has a smooth texture, and it typically has thicker walls and is a little bit more hollow on the inside. So these are great to make pickles out of. They're technically melons, but they do better in our hot climate in that they've produced constantly throughout our heat with no problems, and they don't get bitter like typical cucumbers do. So these are great. Last week I harvested a lot more than this, and I made 20 quarts of pickles. So this week we're probably going to give some cucumbers away, maybe eat some fresh. We have plenty of pickles already for the season. So there you have it, today's harvest. I'm also going to show you guys a picture here of what I harvested last weekend. The garden has just been so productive and coming through for us. So we're getting into the swing of preserving as our summer garden is still producing and in full swing, and we're slowly trying to transition our garden into the fall garden as the weeks come and progress here. I'm really excited to get out and amend that potato patch and get it set up for brassicas and carrots and things like that, so we can have some root vegetables for the winter. So you guys will have to stay tuned for that. I'm going to show you guys a picture here of some of the things that we made this past week with the harvest from last week's harvest. And again, I'll show you that picture as well here. Everything on the table. We had a bunch of tomatillos. I made a green salsa verde out of our tomatillos, which was really good, and we made green chicken enchiladas, which was fantastic, made from scratch, and it felt so good to have things growing from our garden to our table this week. I say this week, but also all summer long. It has been such a blessing to be able to go out in the garden, pick a squash, run inside, chop it up, and eat it fresh from the garden to our home. I think this is where we're gonna stop. It's getting pretty hot outside today, so you guys will have to stay tuned to the next one. We will keep you guys updated with how our lottery ticket goes with that new bus that we have, or new to us bus that we're fixing up. If you want a bus, if you're looking for one, leave it in the comments below. We might have one for you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with everything going on here at Reach and Reverie. I will catch you guys on the next one, and I'll have to tell you how the rest of the day goes with weeding next time. Thanks for watching.